So beyond that, let's see here. I wanted to kind of give you an introduction if I can.
Go
That
ahead.
way, it'll flow really well into what we're creating, which is your radio show.
My podcast,
All right.
yeah.
So forgive me if I go a little bit announcer on you guys right now because
Oh,
I want to
do
make
it.
I
Your
want to make
Barry
sure that it
White
sounds.
voice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
You were messing with me last night.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. So much fun.
Where is Barry White when we need him?
Right.
Anyway,
Well, we first of all, let me just do it. I'm going to do the thing. Ready?
yeah.
All right. So we want to welcome you to the Extraordinary Lovers live TV show, and today I have my extraordinary lover, my partner, my beloved, Laurie Handlers.
Yay.
And we now say it like this: the immortal Laurie fucking Handlers.
Yay. That's me.
So Laurie has been working on several books. She's written the book, the Sex and Happiness, the Tantric Laws of Intimacy, and she's now written a follow-up book, which is just about to be completed and released, and we're really looking forward to it. But I really want you to talk about some of the things that are in this new book, and also some of the things that have happened since you've started talking about this in real life on Instagram and Facebook, because you're getting a little bit of flack for it.
I am.
So,
All right, but first I just want to say a couple things about the first book.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on lauriehandlers.com. You can get it on Audible. And you can get it on Kindle. I just want to tell people that because
Yeah.
they might want to read the first book, and if they're not 50, or if they are 50, doesn't really matter.
right.
The first book is really it's an important piece of work. It's it's an Amazon international bestseller.
Yeah.
And and we've just done some journeys with it.
Well, it has become kind of like a live action journey where she's taken all 10 laws and put them into 10 weekly calls. And it has been transformational.
It's been
for
amazing for
so many
people.
So many people.
Many people. Over 100 anyway since COVID.
All right, so
started.
So you started to talk a little bit about how this came about. You read a book on the way to.
That I didn't like, and
didn't
so I
like it
started
all.
writing a book. If you don't have another book, you might as well write a book.
Right.
So I started writing a book like, what's different about my life since I turned 60? Now I'm well over 60 now, but I was just trying to encapsulate what my life was like. And I felt like my life was so much better. Like it was better than when it was at 30. Now, how does that happen? How does that even happen? Because most people are panicking, wondering like, oh my God, I'm going to turn 50. I'm going to lose my mojo. I'm not going to be attractive anymore. One of the biggest things, we did market research. One of the biggest things we found out is that people are afraid, especially women. Just going to say this, women. Sorry I'm saying this, but I'm saying it. Women and men are afraid of becoming undesirable. Like they're losing their factor called desirability.
Oh.
And so, but I didn't know that when I was writing the book. I know that now.
Yeah.
So I started writing this book, like, what's changed in my life? What's different from when I wrote the first book? I wrote the first book when I was around 50, 49, 50. And how did my life get better? And I started writing all these chapters. So I came up with 7 new laws,
Oh.
although one of them is the same as a law in the first book.
Right.
And that's the most important one.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
Boundaries.
Like if you,
yeah.
we talk about boundaries on this show a lot.
A lot.
If you don't have boundaries, and you don't know what your boundaries are, chances are people are overrunning your boundaries, and then you're going, oh, I have a boundary.
And
That's how you found out about your boundary.
and at the same time, your piss off shows up with the boundary discovery, and it doesn't go well.
So that's the reason why you should read the first book.
Right.
Because there's a whole chapter on honor your anger. And then there's a whole chapter on confrontation. But this book is really for people who are a little older and have some life experience, but they may not know how to channel it because the culture doesn't give anything to people over 50. I mean, all the baby boomers now are over 50. And like even some of my best friends, like from high school, are starting to suffer. You know, the ones who are still alive are starting to suffer. And because this thing called a retirement
Oh,
starts to take us out of the life force. Starts to, like, we sit in an easy chair and watch TV or read a book. Like, if you were an active human being, that is not the solution for you to retire and sit in one of those recliners.
no. Not at all.
You can't see me in one of those recliners.
No.
I'm never going to be in a recliner. So I'm not.
I don't think. Yeah.
My father wasn't, my mother wasn't, and I'm not. I'm not going into one of those recliners.
I can see you walk. Well, you're constantly active. You work out. You do stretch. I mean, we went this morning and checked out a CrossFit box.
Yeah.
I have a CrossFit gym that I'm going to, and Laurie's got, she's a Orange.
I'm an Orange Theory fitness girl.
So
yeah.
I was like, well, maybe CrossFit, and so we've been looking at that. But you got to be active. You got to be.
You have to be active.
Moving.
So okay, so that's one of the chapters.
Yeah.
In the book, I'm just gonna. Oh, they went away. One of the chapters in the book is shake things up.
Ooh.
That's not law one, but it's shake things up. Like, don't keep your old routines. Like, stop saying, "Oh, this is my routine. This is how I no." I think that routines are kind of like a pre-coffin. Like
the rut.
Yeah, it's a rut.
You're right.
So shake things up. Try new things. Try one new thing a month. Go out of your comfort zone. Change, dare to wear crazy clothing. Go to seminars. One of the biggest aging things is to not learn new technology. That can age you very fast.
Yeah.
Like, if you still have a flip phone.
Sorry.
I'm serious.
I'm thinking of getting a flip phone.
You are not. You need to keep up with technology. You need to keep up with what's happening. And one of the ways people age very fast is to say, I'm too confused to use my Mac. I'm too confused to use my PC. I don't know how to buy Bitcoin. I don't know how to open a Coinbase account or whatever. I can't do that. I'm too old for this. And that right away starts to put you headed towards the grave.
That's right. I mean, I want to brag on you a little bit. I mean, you're someone who is always evolving technologically, and you have Bitcoin, you have many
I have many
cryptos.
altcoins and Bitcoins.
Yeah.
I'm doing really well in the crypto market.
Right now is probably a good time to, if you don't know anything about that, to actually look at it. But Laurie has been someone who, she comes to me and says, "Hey, what do you think about this? Take a look at that." And I'm like, "Wow, not even on my radar." So she's progressive in that sense. So yeah, definitely be someone who's actually up and increasing and evolving your knowledge around technology is super, super important. Yes.
And then also, this comes into some of the criticisms I'm getting.
Oh yeah.
So I'm getting criticized for posting on Facebook and Instagram. Hi, all of you Facebook and Instagrams. I'm getting a lot of criticism from people who are calling me out, like the call-out culture.
Right.
Really, I just want to barf for a minute. I'm being called out because I'm not, in the posts, I'm not talking about bioidentical hormones. So bioidentical hormones, I take them. I don't want to get this routed towards biology and what you have to do for biology. But I will just tell you, for at least 11 years, I've been taking bioidentical hormones. And I didn't take them for the first 10 years after menopause. And I noticed the changes in my body. My vagina started to dry up a little bit. I didn't have as much sex drive. Wasn't in the mood.
Oh.
And then I started taking drops. The first thing I did was start taking drops. And that started getting me juiced up again. And then I went to a doctor, and I saw a doctor to pair me with bioidentical hormones. Now I'm going to tell you what didn't work for me. I didn't like the pellets. You out there who are listening, you might love the pellets. What I felt was the pellets gave me a spike. Like for the first few days of the pellets, like I felt like a dog. Like I wanted to hump everything and have sex with everything, you know? Richard Pryor has a joke about the dogs. He says, "Oh, that looks like a dog and it's like a tree." And the dogs go, "That looks like a dog. Let's fuck it." You know, like Richard Pryor will always come in wherever I can put him in. Anyway, I felt like that. I felt like a dog in heat. One time, my best friend and I were sitting here. She was visiting me from California. I have a few best friends. I have a handful of really best friends who have been around for years, 40 years, over 40 years of my life. She came over. She had just gotten her pellet, and she started making out with me. We don't have that kind of relationship. And she was just like kissing me, and her tongue came into my mouth, and I was like, "Wait a minute. What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I got a pellet."
So that's the danger of using hormones.
I said to her, "We don't really have this going on between us. We haven't. Is this where you want to go?" She was like, "No, I'm so sorry, but it's my pellet."
It's my pellet.
Like she said, "I feel so horny. And I'm so attracted to you." And I said, "Great, I love you. I'm thrilled that you're attracted to me, but I don't think we should start making out and take this further."
Yeah.
So we didn't. Some of you may disagree with that. That's okay with me.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the pellets. Also, when they put the pellet, if you don't know what a pellet is, it has testosterone and estradiol. So it's estrogen and a testosterone combo.
Blend, yeah.
They put it into you. They make a little incision and they put it into your butt. And the other thing was, after the pellet gets inserted, you can't go to the gym for 3 days. I couldn't swim for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
That cramped my style, so I don't like the pellets.
No.
But I do use a cream for testosterone and estradiol, and I do take progesterone, and I take DHEA. And I take melatonin, and on and on and on. If you saw our cabinet,
wow,
you would see all the things that I take because I'm into super longevity.
And we have a list. I mean, we could share that list eventually. But
I don't want people to take everything I take. They have to go find out on their...
Right.
Like, I can
Blood
make some
tests
suggestions.
Yeah.
So the criticism came from somebody because I didn't state that I was taking hormones, and this person was saying that men's testosterone goes down.
It does.
And women's estrogen goes down, and women's testosterone goes up, and so it's a different story. They don't have the same kind of desire as they had before.
Right, and one of the complaints I think that a lot of couples have that are aging together, and that have similar ages, when they start getting into their late 40s and 50s, men, the testosterone, as you said, goes down. So they not only do they lose muscles, one of the things that gets lost, but the other thing is they lose desire, and this is where ED starts to show up, and it's a natural occurrence in men at this age. And for women, as you said, women's testosterone goes up, so their muscle gets better, and they're also hornier. They're more interested in sex.
Yeah, well, some are, not all women.
That depends.
That was this person's whole point. Like, not everyone's the same. And I said,
Right.
I never said everyone. I actually left this person a voice message on Facebook and said, "I understand. This is my position. You don't have to agree with me. It's okay.
Yeah.
But this is something people can do. Men can take testosterone shots. They
right.
can also get pellets. You never got the pellet.
I didn't get the pellets.
You
I got
had
the
shots.
Yeah.
But then you have to be aware that if you start taking these things that aren't made in your own body, your body's not going to make them anymore.
Yeah. I stopped.
So there's some. So now we have morning sex. Hello, here's the secret. You know the secret? The book, The Secret. Here's the secret. When you're older, have morning sex.
Yeah, that's when
Yay!
men's testosterone is the highest is in the morning.
In the morning, when morning wood shows up.
That's right.
So that's
long and strong.
That's when to have sex. It's not going to happen at 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah, and it's also the best time to work out for men because your testosterone is higher, and it will help you to build and develop your muscles, which also has is a factor in producing natural testosterone.
So you get
that's the
up
other
super
thing.
early, you have sex, you get a prolactin, thing where you have to go to sleep, so you take a 20-minute nap, then you get up and you go to the gym.
Yep. Ding.
Duh. Okay, so that's one complaint that I'm hearing. Anyway, we'll get to some other complaints, but what I said was to shake things up. Now,
Yeah.
the other thing I said, and I just hit on it, which is have intentional sex.
Oh yeah.
Practice intentional sex. So, what does that mean? What does it mean to you?
Well, it means to me that we make dates, we schedule it. We actually have times during the month where we're doing intentional sex, including something you and I practice called sex magic. So having those scheduled. And when you do it, it's not just scheduling sex so that we can experience pleasure and get off, but it's also so that we can connect at different levels. And so, like I said, sex magic is one of those things we use to create.
So, practicing intentional sex is super important. Now, here's the criticism we receive for this.
Oh, yeah.
I love to take these criticisms on. I don't have my boxing gloves on anymore,
But you can
a
yoga
good
box.
fight is good. I can yoga box.
Right.
So, so some people say that practicing intentional sex and scheduling it will ruin the mood. Right?
Nope.
Nope.
That's not true.
It's not true. If you set it up right, intentional sex, scheduling sex. Look, I always say this, I'm going to say it again. You would schedule a business meeting with somebody because you wanted to do business with them. So why wouldn't you schedule a business meeting, a sex meeting with somebody that you wanted to do sex with? Like, it's so important to make sure that you connect. Just the same way that you do in business. So this is the business of life. That's the way I feel. Yeah. So the next law.
Go on.
What?
David's saying hi.
Hi,
Dwyer.
David. Is this David L?
Yeah.
David L, I just sent you an email talking about a possibility. Please check your emails. You will get one from me. I hope it didn't go into your spam. So, yeah, I want to do something with you in the future.
Yes.
That's my proposition. So
That's a good proposition.
so so the next one is about boundaries. And so we always talk about boundaries. Boundaries are super important. And the way I look at boundaries is boundaries are cellular membranes that keep out toxins and let in nutrients. And it is my right to keep out toxins. It's my right to only let in nutrients. And it's like a cellular membrane. It only has to be one membrane thick. But it's really important to exercise boundaries. Now, we've talked about this a lot. You were the first person
Yeah.
to exercise boundaries in our relationship.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I really respected you. I love that, he just said to me, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Don't expect this from me. And I just went, thank you. I can live with that.
Well, I think it was important as we were getting to know each other even, and this is when it happened, that you knew that, I do have some limitations on things that I'm willing to do, right? Like those are the things that I had limitations on. And it was really funny because over time, as you honored that boundary, I lifted it.
It disappeared.
It disappeared. I didn't need it anymore. So boundaries, when people think of boundaries, oftentimes they think of, that it's a separation, it's a stop, it's a no. And really what boundaries do is they create intimacy, because when you honor someone else's boundaries and they honor your boundaries, wow, that just really, really connects you. And it caused intimacy for us. And then I lifted the boundary, and you were shocked.
I know, it was wonderful. And we're telling you all this stuff because I'm starting a new journey online. I just want to say this now. I'll say it again later. Starting a new journey called Sex and Happiness Over 60. And it's for people over 50, people 50 and up, because people 50 are stressing over the fact that soon they're going to be 60. Oh my God. Then they really won't be desirable.
Right.
And according to Madison Avenue,
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's for people over 50, and I'm starting it on April 28th. So I thought we'd talk about it today.
Yeah.
So, and I also think that because people, like the baby boomers, I don't think they ever heard the word boundaries.
I don't.
I don't think anybody in the baby boomer generations, like we were like free love and sex, and acid and pot. Like we were like, let's break the rules and da da da. But I don't think most of my friends never heard the word boundaries, and my parents never said the word boundaries in my whole upbringing.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
Oh, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the automatic chat thing.
Okay. So I think boundaries are really important to stress, even though they're in Sex and Happiness,
Right.
the Tantric Laws of Intimacy. I think boundaries is law 4, and in this book is law 3.
Yeah.
And I state it all over again plus, because people who are a little older need to look at boundaries a little differently. For example, in the ISTA training this past week, some people come up to me, they think this is a compliment, and they say, "Oh, Laurie, we love you. You're so my Tantra grandma."
Oh!
And I'm
ever
like,
say that to her. Don't you ever say that to her.
first of all, I'm not a mother. Second of all, I'm not a grandmother. And that's not a compliment to me. Like, I feel that as a separation. That's not a boundary. That's a separation. They're putting me in a category called old.
Yeah.
And
I saw you get a little, like, rascally, like you were like, with one person. And I was like, you go, girl.
I'm not old. I might be number-wise older than you, but there's nothing about me that's old. There's not a lot of 35-year-olds who have something on me, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know anybody that can keep up with the 12-minute plank. This woman did was it 12 minutes?
I did a 12-and-a-half-minute plank.
12-and-a-half-minute plank. Give it a shot. I can't do it.
I dare you. I dare everyone listening right now, everyone, all of you on Instagram and Facebook, everybody on Twitch, you do a 12-and-a-half-minute plank and come back to me.
Yep, she's
and tell
the real
me that
deal,
you did
y'all.
it. You tell me that you did it. So I'm not in a contest with any of you either, but
No.
I don't want somebody to go, "Oh, you're so this for that."
Right.
That's like, "Oh, you're such a good driver for a woman."
That's called a backhanded compliment.
It is.
Right?
It's a terrible compliment. So I have a boundary about that, and I set a boundary like that at the ISTA training we just came out of.
That's right.
Because I never want to hear that again. Really, I don't.
Yeah, absolutely not. So one of the things that I think is important is to know that as you age, right? If you know what's happening to your body, you can have you have a say in how that goes, and so that's really what you're talking about. But when it comes to sex, and as you age, some of the things that happens to our body has the effect of lowering our libido and causing us not to be so intentional and all those things.
And there's also shame. Like, let's say a lot of men unfortunately have to lose their prostate.
Yeah.
Like prostate cancer is
It's a thing.
It's prolific.
Yeah.
And so men have prostate removals,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, if a doctor tells you that you have to have your prostate removed, get another opinion or two. Because this is like tonsillitis. Let's just send that thing in there and take that out. Maybe you don't have to lose it. And, I'm just saying, get another opinion.
Right.
Also, if you're hearing this today, if you're watching us today, and you don't know anything about prostate massage, go find somebody who will actually put their finger in you and massage your prostate. Get your prostate stimulated. Buy a wand that stimulates your prostate. Your prostate needs blood flow.
Absolutely.
To break up various films that take place in the prostate, and to also give it attention in a disowned part of men.
Right. And I think that something that you're talking about, you actually have a product for men.
I do.
For that.
I have a wand where men can go put this wand in. It won't go up your butt. Here's the thing about butts. They have two sphincters, and one of them you can control by will, and the other one you cannot. And so if you put something straight in your anus, it can get sucked in. So you want to put something in that has a curve. It can't go in.
Right.
And so that's what the wands are that I have.
Right.
That I get from Nectar
And
Products.
you can go to, I think you can go to extraordinary, not extra, LaurieHandlers.com.
And you can see the wands.
In the shop. Go to the shop and you can see the wands that are there.
Anyway, this is a very important, in the world I'm creating, everyone will have this S-shaped wand, and they will have attitude adjustment instead of going to the bar. Like on Friday nights, if you work in corporate America, instead of going to the bar, you put this in and you adjust your attitude.
There you go.
Attitude
like
of gratitude. Yeah, crank it up.
That's hilarious.
That's my joke.
You're funny. All right. So tell us a little bit more about the book, but also tell us a little bit more about some of what people have been saying that have been really off. And I think you got challenged a little bit. It was
I don't think it's off. I think they have a right to their opinion. I don't
Sure.
think anything is off about
Well, I mean,
it.
they're challenging you, but I think, and you had some people come in and say, wait a minute, you can have both, right? I forget who it was.
Yeah,
that said,
one person, a friend of mine actually, who I've had on my podcast before, and who I'll probably have on my podcast again. Actually, I invited her on my podcast to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so she said, when you get older, why don't you just go into the flow? Be more in the flow. Don't try to be sexy like what Madison Avenue has cranked people up to be.
Right.
Don't kid yourself. Don't try to be too sexy. Don't try to compete with younger women or younger men. Just accept that you gracefully are aging and you go into the flow. And I thought, that sounds okay, but it sounds kind of boring. And but anyway, someone else responded to this person on one of these social medias and said, well, I think Laurie does it both. She's very sexy, and also she knows how to go with the flow. She does both things.
Yeah.
Someone came in, I think it was Raquel Colello, said Laurie's got both. So I'm not trying to compete with anyone. I'm just saying I believe that the media doesn't allow for people to age sexily. Like, they just want people to age gracefully.
Right.
And I'm like, graceful sex.
Being sexy and graceful.
Yeah.
We got to come up with a word, like a hashtag for that, Like, I don't know. You come up with sexy graceful aging, or
Sexy, graceful aging. I don't know, something like that.
Something
Anyway,
like that.
I don't want you to stop if you don't want to stop. I don't want you to stop because you and your belief system feel like it's over.
right.
If you do feel it's over, then that's not who I'm addressing.
Right.
But if you feel hot and you feel sexy and you don't dress your age, like, what are you supposed to wear?
Right. You wear something sexy.
What are you supposed to wear?
Like, go for it.
Grandma, like, I don't know.
A muumuu.
A muumuu, yeah. You're not.
You wear a muumuu
I would never wear a muumuu.
and rollers.
Yeah,
No.
like, I don't know. I just don't want you to lose it for no reason. And so that's why I'm writing it. That's why I'm talking about it, because I haven't lost it. And so we need one example, not a Hollywood star, but one
Right.
example of a real person who isn't losing it.
Who's still getting it on?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting it on.
You're definitely getting it on.
And I'm making sure other people are getting it on.
That's right.
It's not only just that.
That's right.
So I received criticism about the flow, being in the flow. And I am in the flow.
You are in the flow.
I'm definitely in the flow. There's no question in my life.
That's right. And you're generating and creating. See, this is the great thing about all of this is that as you get closer into this, what they're calling the flow, the creation and the manifestation stuff starts to happen, and that's really what's powerful, especially at any age. You can literally create your life and manifest things that you want, like a new book, like a new, maybe a new TV show or whatever it is.
Or a new lover.
Whatever you're out to create and generate. And that's possible through sex magic, through other things that we teach. But really actually being someone who's in the flow is someone who's juicy and sexy and having that sexiness really be known. I know that there are young men, young men, 30s, 40s, who are interested in women that are older than them, especially when they are turned on and sexy.
That's
and juicy.
a newer fad.
Well, it's something that there was a thing a while back, I don't know, a decade ago we started hearing about, probably longer, but we started hearing about cougars, right?
Oh yeah, my cougar ring broke. I had a cougar ring. I loved it.
Right.
Now I have it just on my key ring.
Yeah.
That's a cougar.
Well, this is women
I
that
love
are,
that.
Women that are a little older that are turned on, and that is sexy as fuck, and men are wise to that, and then of course you see the younger woman with the older man, and that's a normal thing. Normal whatever, but
it's more that was more accepted,
more common. Let's not say normal, more common,
accepted,
and right now I'm telling you, no matter what age you are, you can be all of that.
You can be anything you want to be. I think so. So I'm, I wanted to give people an example to live more fully, to live life more fully, and to not, listen, one of my best friends in the whole world married a man older than us. I mean, we went to elementary school together. And after he died before us.
Yeah.
And after he died, she never again saw another living man.
Really?
She has not.
Wow.
And there's no talking her out of that.
Ugh.
And I feel like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody could be the love of your life and they could die. And then you're still alive. So live.
Yeah. Love another. Love again.
Really. Love the one you're with.
That's a song.
They know.
It's one of my favorites.
Stephen Stills.
Yes.
All right, so.
You crack me up, girl.
I do.
You do. You crack me up.
I didn't put. None of my laws are sense of humor.
No?
No.
No, but they're all fun.
Sense of humor is really important, by the way, everybody, for living.
Caressa says, I've been turned on and have known what I wanted since my late 20s. Not only older women know what they want and turn it on. That's right.
And if a young man is lucky enough to have an older woman lover, oh, he just hit pay dirt.
Nice.
Because an older woman isn't so uptight about her body, so she teaches.
Yeah.
She teaches him. So, there's so many advantages. Anyway, I've been taking the criticism pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like I have flow.
You do. You have great flow.
Anyway, I'm going to invite that person onto my show.
Definitely.
Now, I did have a couple on my show, on my podcast, who he had prostate cancer and lost his prostate. And they talked about how they have sex. Oh, he didn't come on. She came on the show and talked about how they have sex now.
Yeah.
And so part of the reason to even study Tantra is because in Tantra, we don't care about erections. Like in Tantra, you can have soft insertion. And that feels really good too. It's like a different whole relaxation for a man and woman to relax into each other's bodies without this hard on,
Well, and there's the energetic part of that as well.
Yes.
So one of the things that Tantra allows for is that and the energetic experience of orgasm and penetration. So if you look right behind me, let me go that way, behind Laurie, you'll see this
Yab yum.
This yab yum. This could be done energetically without insertion or intercourse, where you just hold each other and deeply feel into each other's bodies and into each other's fields, which is really powerful.
It's more powerful than actual sexual intercourse,
Right.
because energetically, sometimes the connection goes even deeper than this.
That's right.
So,
But that is really good too. In
Really?
that position.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good in that position too, but it doesn't have to be.
No.
We're just giving options here, you know.
yeah.
Now, another thing that I address in the new book is share the wealth.
Oh yeah.
And that is because I learned how to collaborate, and that made my life much easier. Like, collaborating with people is so much more fulfilling than being a solopreneur, which I was most of my life.
Right.
And there's a lot of things to share the wealth about, but I mean, one of the things really is collaboration. Who can you work with? Who can I work with? Who can I work with you?
That's right.
We do this, and we do Extraordinary Lovers Experience, Extraordinary Lovers Journey. And a lot of it is based on the first book, Sex and Happiness.
Yeah. The biggest part of what Extraordinary Lovers is taking those practices, the laws from Sex and Happiness, and implementing them in a way that's for couples. So that we basically taken Sex and Happiness, and you could add the tagline for couples, whereas Sex and Happiness really is a broad for a broad audience, singles, couples, whatever. But then we took this and we distilled it down so that it really does work for couples.
Right, we've saved some couples from killing each other. We have.
Yeah, it's true.
We've saved them from, like, one of them wanting to kill the other. And they return to love. So we've done that, and basically it's based on the 10 laws of intimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about sex and happiness over 60.
Oh, yeah, and there's more, so much more.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the release date once we find out when that's going to happen. And, of course, we'll be doing
the book release.
Right, the book release. And, of course, we'll have the Audible available for people as well. And,
right. But in the meantime, people can come to my beta test course.
Right, so I was just going to mention that. Go ahead.
So April 28th, which is a Wednesday, I believe, and it's going to be 7 p.m. East Coast time. I'm having the Sex and Happiness over 60 journey, and I'll be co-facilitating that with Rich Prittis and with Brianna Krebayer, and it's for people over 50 who want to keep their mojo, keep their life force, keep whatever working, and making things better over 60. But it's for people over 50, because that's when people start to, like, have a downslide. They get scared, they get concerned. And it starts, what I say, April 28th. And you can go to lauriehandlers.com I think it's on the front page of lauriehandlers.com. You just go to my homepage.
And Chrissy will put that into the
and you can
the chat
you
here
can
for
sign up for it. It's a special low price right now because it's the beta test. Before I publish the book, I want to see how these new laws work for people.
Right.
And you'll also get what is it called? Sex and Happiness
self-study
course. So you'll get the first 10 laws, and then I want feedback on the next 7 laws.
Right.
So I'm inviting people to participate, to just go there and register.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to do it either. I'm going to give you the actual, here it is. It's lauriehandlers.com/SH60 course.
That's great.
All right.
And that's for people over 50. Now, that might not be any of you watching. It might be your parents.
Right.
So, come on. Get your parents hot. Get your parents sexy. I mean, they deserve it.
Yeah.
It could be your boss. It could be anybody over 50 who thinks they're losing their mojo, or is afraid of losing their mojo, is afraid of losing their desirability.
Yeah.
This is the course for them.
Yeah, anybody that it could be a neighbor. I mean, anybody. But the point is that you want. Oh, here it is.
Somebody who's overdoing plastic surgery.
Here it is. Let me give it to you again. It's lauriehandlers.com/sh60 course. And that'll work.
Great. That's wonderful.